well, welcome back to the Black Tornado Podcast, your home for underground metal. Today, I'm sitting in with Pit Inferno from Detroit, Michigan.
It's just me today, John Young, a.k.a. Phobos. I'm the vocalist and bass player. I wish everyone else could be with me, but, scheduling, when it comes to being a band, that's tough. So
Sure.
I'll do it. I mean, this is a cool podcast.
Yeah, maybe in the future we'll get the other guys on. That would be really cool. But I just want to say real quick, thank you very much for agreeing to come on the show.
Dude, thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I mean, that is the point of the Black Tornado Podcast, is to take these up-and-coming bands and give you guys as much promotion as I can. We have a little bit of a following kind of all over the place. We're not just in the States. We've got listeners in the UK. We've got listeners in the Philippines, listeners in Italy. And those are just the ones that I know about. We could have listeners in other places that I'm not aware of. So if one or two of those guys checks you guys out, that's a couple extra follows, couple extra likes, and kind of helps the social media machine grow.
Yeah, no, it's amazing how you guys are all over the world. How you guys find bands in these other countries too.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, the theme shows are really cool because not only for myself, I get to listen to these bands and check these guys out, but then I get to share it with everybody that listens to the show. And it's the idea that I'm trying to cultivate is a little underground community where gatekeeping doesn't happen. I'd say it's, if you listen to the show, it's very anti-gatekeeping. The idea is that I want to promote, basically, if it's good. If I hear it and I go, that fucking rips, I want to play the band. And if I can do one better than playing the band, if I can talk to the band, I'm in for that too.
I feel like it's great you're using your ears rather than eyes. That's awesome.
Absolutely. And again, everybody that listens to the show knows there's nothing to look at. You're going to see the logo that you've seen for however many episodes now. And it's just nice. It's almost like a radio show. I think Black Tornado is more like a radio show than a podcast. You just turn it on on your way to work. You're going to listen to some new bands. You're going to hear some banter. And hopefully, when the show ends, at least one, you go and you support these guys, jump on their Spotify or, like them on Instagram, whatever shows you guys as the band that the listeners are interacting with you. Shows that you guys, you're making an impact. And if I can help facilitate that, well, that's the whole point of the show.
Dude, that's great. It's good to hear you're helping out with other bands and you ended up in Metro Detroit area.
Oh yeah, man. I haven't had anybody from Detroit. I used to keep a sheet of where all the bands were from. I don't think I found Detroit, so you guys might be the first.
I wouldn't say we're quite Detroit. We're more Metro, more.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, go Lions.
Yeah. So like Metro wise, so how far is that from Detroit for people like me that have no idea?
I would say we're about 25 minutes out. So just like the suburbs.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like you're a part of that scene being 25 minutes. You're not an hour away.
No. We're not that far. I'm not in Kazoo anymore. I used to live in Kazoo, Kalamazoo, for college at Western Michigan.
Okay.
But moved to Metro Detroit. So I'm a little closer to all of that going on.
So when it comes to Detroit bands, are you guys familiar with like Acid Witch, for example?
Yes, Acid Witch.
Yeah.
Wild. Acid Witch is like one of the bigger ones, that's for sure.
Right.
Especially in the genre.
Yeah, I've been listening to Acid Witch for years, and when I got your guys' location, I was like, okay, let me pull up a couple artists that maybe they'll be familiar with, and the first one that hit my head was Acid Witch. I was like, I got fingers crossed. I hope they know Acid Witch.
Yeah, no, one day it would be fun to meet them, but I think they've taken off. Like they're like a big band now.
You can go on Hell's Headbangers, for example, and you can pretty much get all of their stuff. And Hell's Headbangers, for people that don't know, is a massive distributor for all genres of metal. So if you get your stuff affiliated with them, that's a lot of eyes on your product for people that don't know your band. But yeah, you're right. They're huge. They've done everything from, I mean, they started out relatively small, and like you're saying, they've really taken off within the last handful of years. What's another one? You guys familiar with Battlecross?
Actually, I'm not gonna lie, no.
Okay, cool. No, that's cool.
Might have come across them on Instagram or something, but
Yeah.
are they like a doom metal band?
I wouldn't say they're doom metal. I'll tell you what, when the interview ends, I will send you some of their stuff. And they're a Michigan-based band. I'm not trying to disparage them in any way. They're not as big as Acid Witch, but they have quite a decent following. So I'll send you some as soon as the interview's over. I think you'd really dig them.
Sweet.
Let's get into this. So your previous name, I did a little looking on you. Previous name was Hellhole, correct?
Dude, you're in the deep end already. Yes, it was Hellhole.
Yeah. Well, I want to start at the beginning and work our way out.
Yeah. Yeah, it was actually Hellhole. I used to run a basement venue in Kalamazoo called the Hellhole.
Nice.
And that went really well. It was great. It was probably the craziest basement venue in terms of like just nutty people in a good way.
Yeah.
And drinking a lot of beer. Like the opposite of a straight edge basement venue.
Yeah.
That was what I had about 2 years ago. And I'm like, once the venue is over, I was kind of bummed, but I'm like, I want to make a band and call it Hellhole, just based off of it. But then I went on Bandcamp. I saw there was a black metal band called Hellhole already.
Oh yeah, sure.
They're really good. I don't know if it's a single person or a whole band, but I listen to their music. I'm like, there's no way. I'm not taking that name.
Yeah, they're too good to rip off their name.
Is awesome. They have really good music out there. So I was like, Pit Inferno sounds similar enough, and it's not a taken name.
It's a good name. Not talking bad about any other bands, but sometimes some of these guys, I feel like, man, you should have brainstormed a bit more. But Pit Inferno, it doesn't sound like a different name, and it's unique enough to stick in your head.
Yeah, I think
when I found the band, I didn't forget the name Pit Inferno. As were some other bands that it's just, it sounds too similar to somebody else, or there's a word from another band in it and you get confused. I never got confused with Pit Inferno. It's a good name.
Oh, nice. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Like maybe it could have been Inferno Pit, but it doesn't roll off the tongue too well.
I think you did. I think you guys did correct with Pit Inferno. I think Inferno Pit sounds okay, but it kind of sounds like that almost sounds like a venue. The Inferno Pit. That almost sounds like a
yeah, they open up another venue or like a DIY venue later on. Maybe it might be Inferno Pit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, did any songs that were Hellhole songs, did those end up turning into Pit Inferno songs?
They did.
Okay.
So originally Hellhole, the band, was my solo artist kind of thing because I didn't have any buddies to jam with,
Sure.
So I recorded all the stuff on GarageBand.
Nice.
And of course, I used drum samples, somewhat fake guitar, some fake orchestra. I'm like, okay, it sounds all right. But once I got some other people who could actually play their instruments, I'm like, we're going to delete all those and learn them together and re-record them.
Hell
and
yeah.
Ascension was one of those songs. And that was the first that we all recorded together as a band.
Okay. All right. And that came out not long ago. That was October 26th, correct?
It was actually a while ago. I recently re-uploaded it because I recorded the vocals a little bit too loud.
I think you told me that. I think
anyone who listens to the song that.
I think you told me that. I think you said, okay, so when I looked on Bandcamp, I saw that it was the 26th, and I thought, oh, that just came out.
Yeah, I'm weird about it. I'm like, if I hear a recording of like any band I'm in, and I don't like a certain thing, I'm gonna re-release it. I don't like to be that touchy about it, but I'm like, I just want something out there that I like how it sounds.
I mean, it's your art.
Yeah.
You should be, if you're not happy with it. I mean, look at, everybody from Taylor Swift did it for the studio owning her music, but I mean, even artists like Taylor Swift will re-record an entire album.
Yeah, which is smart. Shout out Taylor Swift.
Hey, you know what? Say what you will about her music. The studio owned it and wouldn't let her do anything with it. And she said, I'll just re-record the whole damn thing.
Which is badass.
That's pretty cool. The Cavalera brothers did the same thing with the early Sepultura stuff. They just said, well, we kind of don't own it. So we're going to re-record the entire thing, and then we get to put it out as our own.
Yeah. So basically for the single, we recorded it at a really good studio. We really like this place. It's called Stellar Tracks in Utica.
Okay.
And I'm not going to lie. All the instruments sounded good. We played it live off the floor in like 4 takes.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to go do vocals, and I just bombed, dude.
Oh, yeah.
So I went home. I asked the guy there for just the instrumental track so I could do the vocals again. And it took me like 10 run-throughs to actually get it down to where I'd be like, this sounds black metal. So I did that and then released it and then listened to it in my car, which is a way different thing than listening to it on a laptop.
Absolutely.
Like, the vocals are way too loud. So recently re-uploaded it with the vocals mixed in a bit better. And now I'm finally happy with it.
No, that's really cool, and you're absolutely right. And for anybody that listens to the podcast, say on your cell phone speaker or something, some of these bands do such an excellent job of mixing and mastering their stuff that I almost feel bad that this is how you're hearing it through your Android or your iPhone speaker. When I listened to Pit Inferno for the first time, I waited until I got home, fired up my mixer, and actually put on decent headphones, because it's going to sound completely different if you're listening to it through your cell phone speaker versus or even, like you said, your car. That's what I do with every episode of the show. The morning that it airs, on my drive to work, I play that episode, and it always sounds so much better on the drive to work.
With music or just talking in general, I feel like studio monitors are the way to go. I haven't invested in a good pair of them yet, but I'm trying to do that in the future. Get some good studio monitors, level them right with your ears.
Yep.
That's how you hear pretty much anything correctly, and it applies to all speakers.
And it applies with anything you're going to listen to, not just music, but if you get a nice set of speakers, that's why sound bars do so well. You watch a good movie like Saving Private Ryan or No Country for Old Men or something, and you've got some really killer speakers. It just makes it so much more enjoyable. Star Wars or something where there's a lot of.
With Saving Private Ryan, I wouldn't say more enjoyable.
Well, not enjoyable
movie, but
not enjoyable in the terms of the film, enjoyable in terms of your viewing experience.
Yeah, it definitely elevates that experience.
Absolutely. I want to go back a little bit on something you touched on a little bit. I'm really interested in this venue.
Yeah, so basically, me and my buddies, we got a place, just another college house,
Yeah.
And we ended up in the fucking Vine neighborhood in Kalamazoo.
Okay.
A hub for music in Michigan. Like, I'm telling you, like, everyone there is like either a musician or a fan of local music. And I had no idea.
Very cool. Sounds like my kind of place.
It's awesome, dude. I just had a basement, and like I played drums at the time, so I'd play drums down there. And then I had a buddy tell me, hey, you should open up a house venue here. I was like, fuck no, I don't want 50 people in my house. And then over time, I was like, all right. I mean, it's the only time I'll be able to ever do this.
Yeah, and I mean, even you'll always have the stories of doing it.
Yeah, we got some bands. This is the show, too. We got like 5 bands on there. I'm like, no one's showing up to this, dude. Come on. This is bullshit. And then the whole basement was packed that night.
That is so cool.
Like, this could actually be something. And then we just went on and booked maybe about 20 to 30 shows that whole year.
Wow. I mean, that's pretty good numbers for a basement.
It was great, man.
Basement shows, 30 bands.
Yeah, it was rather
30
hectic.
shows, I mean, I'm sorry.
It was fun to do while it lasted. I don't know if I could do it anymore because it's just a whole thing of managing drunk people in your house.
Oh, I can only imagine.
That could come with that.
See, that was my first thought, is any kind of liabilities from people getting injured moshing or, slipping on liquid on the ground, twist their
Yeah.
ankle or something.
At
Now
the
they're looking
time,
at
I didn't
you.
even think of that, though.
Of
I just
course not.
party. It was like a frat house for weirdos, you know?
Right.
But it went really well. It was probably one of the top highlights of like my whole life, dude.
I
Awesome.
don't know very many people, which is strange to say. I actually know a few, but I don't know very many people that have been event promoters and ran, their own venues and things like that. And I've always just thought that it's really cool because as the fan, you don't really think too much about the venue promoter and the people putting on the shows. You just go, oh, there's a show, I'm going to go to it.
Exactly, man. Yeah, right on. Dude, I was terrible at it too. A PA system.
Really?
Other people helped me, so shout out to those people. I was just the guy running the event. There was other sound guys. I don't know how to run sound. All worked out somehow.
That's cool though that you had people willing to, to give you that hand to help you out in that regard. It's kind of like doing this show. I've had help, learning how to do some of this stuff to make a better show. And they say it takes a village, and that doesn't apply to just one thing. It applies to a lot. It applies to, building your band better and putting on these shows and getting these events organized. And no, that's really cool that you were able to get that help. And it sounds like it was pretty successful.
It was good. Yeah, I'm really appreciative of all the people who like helped out along the way. It's been a big variety of people. Sometimes the band would bring a PA system. A lot of times one of the bands would actually run sound. And then when
cool.
to play, they would set it up for themselves.
Yeah.
Come back and run sound again.
Very cool.
Because I couldn't do it. I was
Right.
just like, I had the spot. So come hang out, but I'm going to need some help.
Yeah, I'm providing the roof. Give me a hand with this other stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And it
But
worked out.
But you were providing a huge part. I mean, the roof a lot of times is what these people need.
Yeah, it was just the space. I had a little light too that put lasers in the whole room and stuff. But
very cool.
Most of the time I would play there too. I had a lot of bands. I was back in the day.
Okay.
Some of them are gone. Some have other members now because it's in Kazoo. But all of them just fucking rocked.
It also sounds like a good way to promote yourself, like you just said, in terms of like, hey, I have this venue. What a great way for me to play a show.
Exactly. Yeah. Any bands who came there, sometimes now with my band at the moment, I'll hit them up and be like, hey, man, remember me?
Yeah.
See if I can get another show.
Oh, that was like a previous episode of Black Tornado, the Grindtober episode, where I played 15 grindcore bands. And I thought, oh, I'm not going to tell anybody that one of these projects is mine. I'm just going to play it. So on one of the 15 bands of Grindtober, I'm on there with the old 4-string, but I'll leave that up to people to figure out.
Ooh, yeah, you got yourself out there in a very subtle way. So.
I just figured, hey, I have a show. I might as well put it out there, but I don't want to be I don't want to make the episode about myself because it's just about grind and all these different grind bands that I'm trying to promote. So I didn't want to sit there and go, and coming up next is me. I just went, oh, here's a band. And then I played it.
And you were in it. Dude, that's so similar with me. You got to do that. If you have something.
Yeah.
And you really like give a shit about your band. If you have something kind of related to the music you're playing, whether it be a podcast or a basement venue, you got to use it for your band, but just don't be in people's faces about it.
Oh, no.
We would just hop on the flyers. Like my old band, Cougar. We wouldn't be like, okay, this is Cougar's show. This is the Hellhole. This is our show. We would just be second on the flyer or something.
See, and that's smart, though, is you don't put yourself as the headliner. You put yourself somewhere in the middle.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. That's smart.
And it's nice for people, too. Like, doesn't make you look like a cocky person, which I'm not. I'm really, like, kind of subtle about it, but I really wanted to play live. So I'm like, this is a great way to do it.
So you've got a lot of shows under your belt, but just between these other bands.
Yeah,
Has Pit Inferno played a handful of shows?
We've only played one. Guess where?
Was it in the basement?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, it was the last show. Actually, funny story. I moved out of there the year I graduated. So it was about like last summer. And then I had 2 roommates still living in that house. A third guy moved in, but he ended up moving out. So they hit me up about 2 weeks before they had to cut the lease. They're like, let's do another hellhole show. I'm like, okay, Pit Inferno, we're doing this shit. And then we had some other kick-ass bands join us from previous times, and that show was awesome, man.
And so that was the last show at the basement.
Officially the last one. We said our last one was going to be the last one I lived there, but then this came up, and I was like, hell yeah, let's do it.
Now, are the people that still living there, do they have any plans to resurrect it anytime, or is it pretty much dead?
They don't live there anymore.
Oh, I see. Okay.
No.
Okay, so it is official. That was officially the last show.
Yeah, it was.
Very cool. Very cool.
They moved out after.
Do you have any good stories of those basement shows? Any like weird shit ever happen?
I guess one of the dumbest things ever happened is, I guess people are just moshing, all the normal shit, and then some tall dude hit one of the pipes.
Yeah.
That was above the, like on the ceiling. I don't know what the pipe did. I think it was air conditioning or something. Mm-hmm. He knocked it down. Oh. So this pipe fell on his head. He was fine.
Yeah.
But everyone else couldn't get to the front of the stage, I would call it. Oh, our tall roommate held the pipe up for the rest of the show.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we had a water leak one time.
Oh shit.
It was kind of small, but there was like a little pond down there.
Wow.
While the show was going on.
Man, anybody's equipment get damaged or anything like that?
No, that didn't happen. It was more on the side, but
good.
We had a really smart guy. His name was also John. He was in the Kazoo community. I haven't talked to him in a while. I hope he's doing good, but yeah, he told me how to turn it off and shit.
Okay, cool.
He knew a lot about that kind of stuff, and I was clueless. I had a few years too. I'm like, there's no way I'm fixing this. Just leave it be.
Right, fuck it.
But yeah, he showed me how to fix it, and it was all good. I thought it was a way bigger problem at the moment than it actually was.
Again, man, I mean, this goes back to, it takes a village, man. You've got the roof, and these guys are helping out with sound, and then you come across this problem, and there's a guy there that's like, no, dude, I can fix that for you.
Dude, it just shows the music scene is like super supportive.
Yes, and again, that's the whole point of this show, is supporting bands like yours, and really trying to get your music out there so that other people can support it as well. That's what I aim for on every show, is when I play 5 new bands. The idea is that I want you to go and support these bands. I mean, people have asked me like, you should make like Black Tornado t-shirts, and I want to buy one. It's like, man, go buy one of the band's t-shirts. I don't want your money. I just want you to tune in every 2 weeks.
If they really want a Black Tornado t-shirt, they could just save the image and put it on custom ink.
I have told people before, feel free. Like, go ahead. I don't care. It's cool. I have bass picks and I have buttons, and I just give those to people that ask me for them. Or I'll go to shows and I'll just turn to somebody and go, hey man, do you want a pick? And no one ever says no, because everybody wants a pick, and then I'll give them one. Or I'll go, I have a hat. I made these patches on, I had someone on Etsy make these patches, and I just sewed one onto a baseball cap. And if I go out places, I'll fill one side with the buttons. So I'll have like 16 buttons on one side of my hat. And if I'm sitting at a bar or a baseball game, it could be anywhere, and somebody at some point will turn and go, why do you have so many buttons? And I'll pull one off and just give it to them. And just go,
that's the most wholesome thing I've heard all day.
Yeah, I just go, here you go. And if you don't like metal, give it to, maybe you have a friend or a family member that likes metal. Give it to them.
Yeah. Or give it to your little brother who just got a guitar.
Oh, I put my family to work, especially the younger nephews. I put those guys to work. I'll give them stickers, buttons, picks, and I just go, I know you guys are, listening to heavier music now. Give it to your pals.
Yeah, dude, that's great.
And it doesn't cost me very much money to make that stuff. So if I can give it out to people that want it, and if people want it by mail, I just ask them if they can cover shipping, which is like I put it in an envelope and mail it to you. Oh God, it's usually under. I mean, unless you're somewhere super far, but it's like a couple of bucks. I just put it in an envelope and I'll send it to anybody, whatever I have left. People want some picks, cool. Every time I go to Sweetwater, which is the country's largest
how far
store. Not to dox myself, but not that far. I was just up there, up there last weekend or the weekend before.
Oh, nice. Yeah, here in Michigan, it's not terribly far. It's like 3 hours maybe, but we consider it a pilgrimage to go visit. And I've never been to Sweetwater before.
Oh, it's 3 hours. No kidding.
From where I'm at, maybe because I remember people in Kalamazoo being like, yeah, it's like 2.5 hours to 3 hours.
Yeah, because by that logic, you are not that far from me.
Well, if I'm in Detroit, I'm farther away.
Well, I mean, from Kalamazoo.
Yeah, so I'd have to go to Kalamazoo and then be like, oh, it's 3 hours from Kalamazoo.
But yeah, I was just up there. Actually, it was Boss Appreciation Day, and I needed a new combo amp.
Katana?
Yeah. Yeah, I have the 110, and the reason I bought it is because the 110 has a USB. I've never heard of this. It has a USB out in the amp.
What does that do?
So I can run it to my laptop and run it through my DAW.
So it's like an interface?
In the amp.
That's insane. I did not know.
That's what I'm saying.
Wow. Does it work well? Have you tried to record on it?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's insane. Shit,
yeah,
I didn't know that.
It's pretty cool, and it's not like I'm running an ad for Sweetwater right now, but it was like $300. It's a pretty fair price.
Wow.
And for a pretty hefty amp, and it has amp sims. It's really cool. I just wanted something that I could if I want to jam in my living room, I can just pick it up and go.
You got something more than just that.
Well, I've got a Carvin 210. And
with the Boss, you got a whole recording setup.
It's really convenient just to be able to plug right into my laptop. I mean, it's a foot away from me right now, and I can run this cord over there, tune up real fast, and if I come up with a lick or something, I can just record it real fast and be done.
Shit, I might need one of those.
It's pretty cool. Well, yeah, you play bass, yeah.
Or even like guitar.
And they have and same thing with the guitar. It has the interface, and it's really cool. But I was just up at Sweetwater, so to make a huge roundabout back to that, every time I go to Sweetwater, I go to the bass section and I leave Black Tornado bass picks. So if you ever see a purple bass pick that says Black Tornado Podcast, it means you just missed me by about 10 minutes.
Dude, that's some good marketing right there.
Everybody wants a pick. The dudes at Sweetwater know that I do it.
Yeah,
they don't care.
They probably don't care. And your logo looks cool too. So
the logo is
metalheads picking it up are like, wow, what's this? And probably search it up.
Shout out Glenford. The logo is awesome. I don't bother. I don't go up to people and go, oh, you should listen to my podcast because we do this. I don't solicit. I just leave free stuff.
You do it more subtly.
And even the dudes at Sweetwater are like, that's awesome, dude. Like, yeah, you can leave free. Like, we don't care. You can leave a pick.
Yeah, it's better than some dude taking a pick from them, you know?
Well, now, see, the problem is that they're bass picks. And so, not everybody, the more, I call them the Doritos pick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you've seen
Doritos.
Yeah. So I know a lot of people don't use those, but I thought it made the logo, look cool on a larger pick. I was actually using those for a while. So then I was like, oh, I'm going to make the picks like this because I actually use these picks. So if you ever find yourself out at Sweetwater, you might find a Black Tornado pick lying around.
That's awesome. I feel like with the Dorito picks too, like newer guitar players would be like fascinated by it.
You can't drop them.
Is this a guitar pick? It's shaped differently than the one that came in the the package with my original guitar, you know?
Yeah, with my Epiphone starter kit.
Yeah, or that that one Kramer made recently?
Uh, the,
Vendetta or something?
oh,
It has
yeah.
a whammy bar on it, but it's a starter guitar.
Yes. Yes.
Dude, I bought one of those one time. I was so excited.
Yeah.
I thought I got the red one. I opened it up. It was a purple one.
Oh, man, I think that's even cooler.
I thought it was cool, but at the moment I was like, come on, I wanted to get a red guitar, and I took it back to Guitar Center.
Yeah.
And they were out of any other color. So they gave me a Epiphone Les Paul Special, I think it was.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I'm like, that thing is cool too, but it doesn't have a whammy bar on it like the Kramer does.
Right. Yeah, the only thing I can think Kramer off the top of my head is actually it goes back to Sweetwater, funny enough. I think it was a color scheme just for them, but it has a bunch of hot dogs on it.
Is that the Pacer or something?
I can't remember.
I know it's like an 80s
yes.
guitar. Yeah.
Yes. It's yellow and it has a bunch of hot dogs on it.
I've seen that thing before.
And it makes me wish I played guitar, because if that was a bass, I would have bought it immediately just because it had hot dogs on it.
Dude, I feel your pain. They always make the guitars look cool, even though the basses should look cool.
There's only a handful of really cool looking basses out there. The rest of them all just look exactly the same.
Yeah, they don't do none of that hot dog stuff on any bass. Even the Kramer basses, they're just plain white.
Right.
Or plain solid color.
And you only get like 3 colors to pick from. You get black, white, and red. That's it.
Like very metal, but there's nothing fancy.
No other colors exist.
Yeah.
And sunburst, but I'm a big sunburst hater. I've never liked it.
Not a sunburst guy either, unless it's a Thunderbird or Les Paul bass.
That is so. Oh, well, I have my background up. You can't see it. I have a sunburst Thunderbird behind me.
Oh, nice. Yeah, those are cool. I've always wanted one. I have a Hard Luck Kings Thunderbird, which is a brand that recently died.
Oh, they're not in business anymore.
No, they're not. It's been like a couple of months, man.
No kidding.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Maybe Low End Lobster, the YouTuber, killed them. That's my conspiracy theory.
Oh, I'm not familiar with that. I'll have to look into it.
He's a big bass YouTuber. I'm
really?
Just making this up. He didn't. I don't think he actually killed them, but
right.
He gave their basses a ton of shit. Rightfully so, because he actually knows what he's talking about.
Sure.
But the Thunderbird bass I got, I fucking love it.
Now, does it
I'm not as experienced as Low End Lobster, but
does it have a crazy amount of neck dive? Because mine, I can only play it sitting down.
Yeah, I don't care about neck dive though.
Yeah.
You just got to be a fucking brute when you're playing it.
Yep. Or you take you take one of the strap locks and you
put it in your belt.
Well, I was going to say screwed into the back of the headstock so then it balances out.
Oh, that's insane. Yeah, that's fucking wild.
I don't I just play at home, so I don't really have to stand up and play. I just sit here, and it's perfect if you're sitting down, but I have stood up and played before, and I switch off to a different bass if I'm going to stand up and record something. It doesn't work out.
Dude, that's a trick I found. If you just put the strap through your belt to where it goes on the front side by the bridge,
right?
It'll stabilize it.
Okay, people that are listening to the show, if you have this problem, there is your solution.
Go look it up on YouTube. There's multiple people who prove it.
Okay, cool. No, I believe you. I've never heard of that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of stupid, but it works. The only problem is
if it works, it ain't stupid.
You have to take your belt off. I feel like Motley Crue or like those 80s bands would be cool with that.
Yes. Yeah, definitely 80s inspired bass. I got mine from Guitar Center years ago. It was used, and it was a steal. It was like $150, and it came with the hard case. So I'm like,
Epiphone?
Yeah, Epiphone, yeah.
Damn, dude.
And it came with the hard case, and I was like, the one, you know, obviously that was made for it. And I was like, yeah, sold for $150. I'm in.
Was it?
Yeah, it was used.
Okay.
But nothing. I mean, a couple light scratches on the head, but nothing. Nothing that affected playability at all. And I've had that. That's probably the oldest bass that I've had. I've had that for at least 10 years now.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, I like it. It's fun. why don't we take a little break and we'll listen to some Pit Inferno. This is Ascension. You guys call yourselves War Doom. And those drums, man, that that seals it. When I listened to that song, I was like, yep, War Doom is what I would call this. That is a heavy fucking drum beat, man. That's really killer stuff.
Dude, thanks. Yeah, about the drums, the one funny thing about it is we didn't use a regular snare.
Okay.
We used a marching snare.
Oh, very cool.
Not a modern one, but like an old, a field drum. Percussion would kind of understand that. It's like I guess it's a cross from a marching modern snare to like a Civil War drum. So it's like a tom basically, but with snare.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, that so okay, so that's what adds to that really unique drum sound. That's really great. I really like the vocals. It really gives a hell of a black metal feel, you know?
Yeah, it was a weird thing. Like the reason it's called war doom metal is like war is like a kind of a faster, more grimy black metal sound, but our song is kind of slow. So
Right.
that's originally we'd established the genre's war doom metal, which is kind
Sure.
of ridiculous.
And the
But
solo, man, we got to talk about that solo for a second.
oh yeah, there's plenty of black metal, doom metal songs out there, but I think war doom fits ours. But yeah, the solo, dude.
That
Yeah.
fucking rips.
Dude, shout out John Yule, aka the Brown Monster.
Absolutely shout out. That fucking rips. Good job, brother. Good
He's
stuff.
insane. He was originally a jazz trombone player. He's
Okay.
played jazz all over the place
Nice.
and is like a pro at trombone.
Hmm.
And when he first showed up with the guitar, I was like, what the fuck? And then
Yeah,
he just was able to rip on it.
Yeah,
And I've
that
known
is
this dude from middle school as like a trombone player, but he just figured out how to totally rip it on guitar.
very cool. Yeah, that's an excellent solo. The bass riff is nasty. That is a nasty, and me personally, that's what I look out for. Number one is a nasty fucking bass riff, and that is sick.
Yeah, in the studio we used that Thunderbird I was talking about. But I put what was the pedal? A zoom, like fuzz distortion kind of thing on it.
Okay. And Zoom, that's made by Boss, correct? Or no, is Zoom their own thing, or is that a shoot off of Boss?
I believe Zoom's their own company. But I found
thought-
this pedal just to goof around with, but I almost sold it right before we did the track.
Oh, and that would have
That's
changed the
what-
tone.
The distortion's kind of cool on it. It's kind of like a Cliff Burton kind of sound. Not
Oh,
quite
okay.
genre, but
Yeah,
that's
like
what-
the Morley that he used to use.
yeah,
Very cool.
I thought it was pretty fun.
So tell me a little bit about the writing process of putting that song together.
I feel like what I did, I wrote this song. It was mostly, it's supposed to drag on for a little bit and be really tense and I wouldn't say unpredictable, but something you can just kind of tell that is going to loop on for a while, but purposely so. So it could get boring when listening to it first. But the point of that guitar solo is for it to build up and make you feel kind of on edge until that guitar solo comes.
Yeah, see, I didn't get the I'm using air quotations here. I didn't get the boring aspect. I thought it built really well, and then the payoff was that super sick fucking solo.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it. I think it's purposely made to be repetitive though. Until
Going back to the main riff,
yeah, it's like a dun 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 dun
Yeah.
dun dun dun, and then the main riff, and then that again, but it goes up a
Right.
half step, and then down a whole step.
It also helps that the main riff is really fucking good.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
yeah, the main riff is sick.
Yeah, I think the part that helps with the build up though is so you're at the original key it's in, but it goes up a half step instead of down right. Before the guitar solo starts. And I think it's just that tension and kind of some time until
Agreed.
that.
Agreed.
So it's supposed to be a build up, pretty much.
It's very good. It's a very good song. I think it's a great representation of your band, especially for a debut single.
Thanks, man.
Absolutely. So that's the debut single. What is next for Pit Inferno?
We have a little bit faster of a song. We have a little bit of a demo on our Instagram, just
Nice.
a little bit.
Okay.
But it's called Hurricane.
Very cool.
It sounds more death metal like.
Okay, I actually haven't heard that yet. As soon as I get off with you, I'm going to check that out.
Sweet, man.
Hell yeah.
That's all I got left because the old computer I had the GarageBand demo on with the
Mhm.
samples. That computer actually died.
Oh, lame.
Like not just died to where you can plug it back in, but that computer died. So
Dead,
that recording is gone.
Oh, man. You got to use the cloud, brother.
Yeah, I should have known that. back then.
Or some kind of external. That's like this. I've got probably probably 50 gigs worth of Black Tornado stuff. And I mean, yeah, it would be a huge bummer if this computer up and croaked on me, but you got to have backups of everything just in case.
Dude, I didn't know it was possible until it happened to me. And I'm like,
Yep,
it's a Mac. It's supposed to be a nice computer, but they can still die on you.
The idea is that it's hard for them to die, but anything can kick the bucket.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure why, though. I don't know if there was all the recordings on there or like I do coding and stuff too. It could have been downloading something wrong.
Oh, I see.
But yeah, I have no idea. But it's all right because I want to record that song as a whole band. The demo that was out was just me screwing around on GarageBand.
Gotcha. And like you said, you want to get the whole band in on it. And no, that's really cool. So do you guys is the next plan EP, full album, more singles?
Another single.
Okay.
I think we'll get to 5 singles.
Yeah.
And then we'll just do I would call it an album, but it's more likely an EP. But It's still something with some more songs on it. But I don't know what I'm going to do. I have all the singles out already. And they have the listeners. Maybe just make an album or EP out of it and keep the singles out, or delete the singles afterwards.
You could always put it out, keep the singles as they are. You could always compile them and, sell CDs on the Bandcamp or something, or compile them all and put it up as one download, as the EP. Here's all 5 songs together.
Yeah. I'm still kind of newish to that kind of thing, so I'm still figuring it out. I'm learning as I go.
Sure.
And that's kind of the fun of it, too.
Yeah, you learn as you go and you improve. I mean, just like with anything else, like with this show, the original version sounds a lot different than this version that started up in just this last February. But just like anything else, we evolve, we learn, we grow, and we make a better product.
That's the whole point of this music thing, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. What should the listeners of the show know about the band?
I think they should know we're just trying to be something kind of like the black metal bands you're all familiar with. Same with the doom metal bands, but we're trying to make it a little more weird if that's even possible.
Sure. Weird is good. Weird is cool.
Yeah, make it weird but also catchy in a way. Just trying to mess around with the genre at the moment.
Absolutely. What would you say are a couple influences as far as what brought Pit Inferno to where it is?
Ooh, I would say Abat.
Yeah.
Dimmu Borgir. Blasphemy.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I appreciate the correct pronunciation. You didn't say no, you didn't say Abath.
Oh, Abath.
Yeah.
There was a video I saw. It was for Dimmu Borgir. It was Demi Lovato, which I'm happy she's a fan of Dimmu Borgir. But she
heard that.
I saw Dimmu Borgir.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, shit.
Wait, say it the correct way one more time.
Dimmu Borgir.
Okay, so what have I been saying for 10 years? I've been saying Demu Borgir.
Yeah, that's how Demi Lovato said it.
Okay, so me and Demi Lovato have been saying the same thing for like 15 years. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Nothing against that. I just thought it was
That's how I
know how to say it is because I'm a big fan of Dimmu Borgir. Their like title song, Dimmu Borgir. You hear the choir sing Dimmu Borgir.
Dude, yeah, right over my head.
Say it.
Oh, right over my head. Nice. See, I'm learning too, people. I'm learning too.
That's what it's about, like I'm saying.
I caught them 2004.
You saw them live?
Oh yeah. I actually have a not to turn this interview about something about myself, but just a fun little story. I was chased by security guards through Tinley Park during their set because I was so into it and I wanted a better view. So I jumped up on the barricade, and I just balanced there as long as I could, and you just see a bum rush of of yellow shirts running towards me, screaming at me to get down. So I jumped down, and I turned around, and they kept pursuing me, and so I just jumped right in the middle of the mosh pit, and they didn't chase me any further.
Dude,
but yeah, I saw them. That would have been right when Death Cult came out.
Dude, you're about to get your ass kicked by those guys.
Yeah, they would have slapped me around, thrown me out, and nope, got to stay, got to watch Slayer and Sabbath that night, and yeah, because that was 2004 Ozfest.
Yo, that's sick.
That was I mean, all Ozfests were awesome, but that was a phenomenal year. That album sold like fucking hotcakes, man.
I think Death Cult Armageddon was the highest selling black metal album, quote quote. I don't know if you'd call it black metal, but it was definitely the highest selling in the genre.
Makes sense to me. I mean, everybody, you heard it everywhere. You know, not like commercial radio, but you know what I mean. Like everybody was playing it, and their touring for that year and the following year were just insane.
I think they got the orchestra on after that.
That was after, correct? Yeah.
That's a lot of money to get that many violins, horns.
I imagine you've seen that live, or not live, but the live record. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to see Dimmu Borgir live so bad, but they're usually in Europe, I think.
They don't play the States, kind of like Rammstein. They don't play the States very much. And when they do come to the States, the tickets usually go pretty quick.
Yeah.
And so I, again, was very fortunate back in 2004 to catch their set. That was really cool. And it cemented. I had heard that song. I think I had heard maybe I'd heard that album and maybe a different album before attending Ozfest. But it was really one of those things. Once I saw them live and once I saw the whole production, the next day I went out and I found the previous albums and just bought them all.
Nice, dude.
And really got into them.
Dude, that's awesome. You got to see them live. That's really...
I am very fortunate to say that I've seen a lot of bands that aren't around anymore. You know, from Motorhead to Dio to stuff like that. You
saw Motorhead and Dio.
I saw. All right, make it about myself again.
I'm just curious now.
I will tell you one of the best shows I ever went to. Ticket cost me $20. This was back in 2000 and might have, for all I know, it was the same year, 2004, 2005, something like that. It was Motorhead opened for Dio and Dio opened for Iron Maiden, and it was $20. Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane. That must have been nuts.
You can't get that ticket for $20 anymore.
I'm seeing Wasp on November 10th.
Nice. Very
My
cool.
favorite band ever. But that's probably the closest. I saw Judas Priest and stuff.
Oh, I've seen Priest, yeah.
Priest and Queensryche, I think it was, at Wing Stadium.
Very
that
cool.
That was awesome. Queensryche is the loudest band I've ever heard live.
No kidding.
And then I'm excited for Wasp.
Hell yeah.
I think it's next Saturday or Sunday, November 10th.
Oh, whatever. Yeah, that's around the corner. Hell yeah, dude. That's going to be a good show.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's at Royal Oak Theater. It was supposed to be at Harpo's.
Oh, I'm familiar with Harpo's because
Harpo's. Yeah,
that's cool.
I heard some wild shit about that place.
Always nuts. Fun. You're not going to get hurt
there, but people are going to try to steal shit out of your car.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I've experienced it, you know, as close to Chicago as I am. I've been to plenty shows in the area, and I was at a King's X show back probably about 8 years ago, and not our car, thank goodness, but a bunch of cars in the parking lot. When we came back out, a bunch of cars had their windows smashed and people had broken into people's cars.
Damn.
Yeah, we were somehow lucky. I don't know if it's because my friend leaves nothing in his car. Maybe they looked and they didn't see anything worth stealing. But yeah, unfortunately, stuff like that happens.
Yeah, that's how it is at some places.
Yeah. I did want to ask this. This is just an offshoot thing, but it's because of Michigan, and it was actually shot in Detroit. Have you seen the movie Barbarian?
No, I haven't actually.
It's a horror movie. I believe it's on either Netflix or Hulu, something like that. But I didn't know this until much later. But it was shot in Detroit,
Hmm.
and is a really cool. I'm a big horror movie fan, and it really takes a unique. It takes an idea that hasn't been, to my knowledge, done before. And I remember talking to a friend about it, who's big horror movie nut, and he happened to tell me, "Hey, did you know that was shot in Detroit?" And then so when I was getting stuff together for you, I was like, I'm gonna ask if they've seen Barbarian.
What year was it shot in?
Oh, it's a semi-recent film, sometime within the last, I want to say, 5 years.
Oh, damn.
So
Yeah,
yeah, not
been a
that
while.
old.
Interesting.
Yeah, you should check it out. I think it's streaming somewhere, or I'm sure, there's other ways of watching a movie. I'm sure you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But I would check it out. Let's see. I think that's pretty much it for all of my questions. Do you have anything that you want to leave the show with?
I would say I know Pit Inferno. We've been stalling a bit, and
Okay.
that's like this is what happens to most bands. We all get different time jobs and stuff. Can't practice.
Yup.
We couldn't do our last two shows because of that reason, but we're planning on coming back and doing some more recordings and live shows. We're
Nice.
planning on it. This band's not gonna die anytime soon, even
That's
though it
good.
might look like it on social media.
No, that's good to hear. And so you'll keep everybody aware. Do you have any other social media accounts other than Instagram?
We just have Instagram.
Okay,
We
just
have
Instagram.
a live set filmed by Back to the Beat
Okay.
and from Slugchild. I'm
Okay.
friends with him. He records bands at live shows, so he has a video of the Hellhole show on YouTube.
Very cool. And what's his YouTube channel?
I think it's just Back to the Beat.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to check that out, you can go to Back to the Beat on YouTube and check out a live set. The Instagram is Pit Inferno, and so you guys can follow the band there. And
Yeah, I think it's spelled Back to with like a 2 instead of
the number 2.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Yeah, so if you guys want to check out some live footage, you can head over there and check out that YouTube channel. Chuck a like that dude's way. I really appreciate that there are people out there at these shows recording. And that's actually an interview that I'd like to do in the future. I'd love to talk to people that go and record these shows, because I'm sure that they've seen and heard, all kinds of crazy things that would make for a pretty cool episode. Yeah, this was a good time, man. I want to thank you for coming on the show and talking to the audience about your band.
Dude, thank you so much for having me again.
Absolutely.
I would have never thought I would have been on a podcast this early on in the band. So this
Well,
is pretty cool.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's not a huge show, but I like to think that every month I grow a little bit more. As of this recording, I'm real close to cracking that first 100. So if you haven't hit the subscribe button, please do so, because we're super close to hitting that first 100 and then continue to move from there. There's a lot of stuff still coming up with the show. I've got plenty more theme shows coming up. So if you like that sort of thing, if you want to dive into these different countries and hear bands that you probably would never hear otherwise, tune in. I'll definitely give you something to listen to, man. This was a lot of fun. Again, thank you very much for joining. All right, man. As always, I've been your host, Adam. Thank you for listening to The Black Tornado. I want to thank Pit Inferno for joining us. Check out their Instagram page. Keep up to date with what they've got going on. And as always, we'll see you in 2 weeks.